boom.
Well, I mean, first of all, I have great respect for Fee, and I think she made a lot of very valid points. And, I think what people need to understand, we need great leadership in this time across all levels. This is straight up the most important moment in this league's history. Well, this league's been around for 25 plus years, and this is a moment we have to capitalize on. So that's honestly what I would say. I think there's, Fee said it all with what she said, and, I think the points she made were very valid.
That one sentence. That was the moment the entire power structure of the WNBA began to fracture. On the surface, it looked like the league's biggest star simply backing up a fellow player. But for the narrative analysts watching, moments like this are never what they seem. This wasn't just a comment, it was a declaration of war. It was the public unveiling of a secret alliance that had been forming in the shadows. An alliance with one goal: to expose the lies at the heart of the commissioner's office and seize control of the league's future. For weeks, you've been told this is a story about a disrespectful comment and a war of words. But today, we're going to connect the dots and prove to you that this public feud is nothing more than a smokescreen for the real battle. This is a story about a calculated political strike, a brilliant strategic partnership, and the high-stakes chess match for billions of dollars in the upcoming collective bargaining agreement that will decide if the WNBA thrives or if it collapses into a league-wide lockout. This is the kind of deep dive analysis we live for. So if you believe the story behind, the story is what really matters, show your support and smash that like button. It's a simple click, but it tells us we're on the right track and fuels our next investigation. All right, let's deconstruct the official story they wanted you to believe. The entire firestorm was ignited by one person, Napheesa Collier, WNBA Vice President and Minnesota Lynx star. During a now infamous exit interview, she dropped a bombshell accusation, claiming that Commissioner Cathy Engelbert had privately made dismissive comments about Caitlin Clark. Collier claimed Engelbert said Clark should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. The backlash was instant and overwhelming. The league, caught completely off guard, immediately went into damage control. Engelbert called a press conference ahead of the WNBA Finals, where she didn't just deny the story, she tried to erase it completely. She called the story inaccurate, praised Clark as a transformational player, and then tried to pivot the conversation back to the finals. But the damage was done. In the court of public opinion, the commissioner had effectively called one of her own union leaders a liar on national television. And that, right there, is where the smokescreen was deployed. Because this was never just about who said what in a private conversation. To understand what's really happening, you have to filter out the noise of the personal drama and look at the real battlefield. The WNBA's Collective Bargaining Agreement, or CBA. For any new narrative analysts here, the CBA is the master contract between the league and the players. It controls everything: player salaries, revenue sharing, travel conditions, and benefits. And the current CBA is a ticking time bomb. The players are preparing for the most important negotiation in the league's history, with a potential lockout in 2026 looming over everything if a deal can't be reached. This is the real war. And Napheesa Collier's accusation wasn't an emotional reaction. It was the first strategic shot fired in that war. Think about it from a strategic perspective. Napheesa Collier isn't just some random player airing a grievance. She is one of the WNBA's vice presidents. She sits at the negotiating table for the CBA. Her job is to secure the best possible deal for every single player in the league. So when she makes a public accusation like this, just as the most critical negotiations in a generation are about to begin, you have to ask yourself, who benefits? The answer is the players' union. By publicly questioning the commissioner's integrity, Collier is executing a classic negotiation tactic. She's weakening her opponent before the real fight even starts. A commissioner who has lost the trust of her players and the public is a commissioner who comes to the bargaining table with significantly less power. It was a calculated political strike designed to give the players an immediate upper hand. But Collier knew her word alone wasn't enough. In a he said, she said battle with the league office, the institution often wins. She needed a weapon so powerful, so undeniable, that it would completely shatter the league's carefully crafted image of unity and force everyone, from sponsors to NBA executives, to pay attention. She needed Caitlin Clark, and that is why Clark's statement was so devastating. For her entire rookie season, Clark has been meticulously neutral. She has kept her head down, avoided controversy, and focused on the game, letting the drama swirl around her. That neutrality was her biggest asset. When she finally chose to break her silence and side with Collier, the impact was 1,000 times more powerful. This wasn't just another player picking a side. It was the face of the WNBA, the economic engine driving record-breaking ratings and ticket sales, officially putting the league's leadership on notice. Her alliance with Collier turned a simple dispute into a full-blown credibility crisis for Cathy Engelbert. Suddenly, this brings a haunting quote from Clark's own head coach, Stephanie White, into sharp focus. Early in the season, she said, "Caitlin Clark is a pawn in other people's game." At the time, it sounded like a defense of a rookie being overwhelmed, but looking at it now, through the lens of this secret alliance, it takes on a much more sinister meaning. Was Clark an unknowing victim, or was she a willing and powerful participant in Collier's master plan? A queen on the chessboard moved into position to deliver a decisive blow. The evidence suggests she was far from a victim. This alliance isn't just about exposing one disrespectful comment, it's about exposing a much deeper lie. The deeper lie they've been selling for years is the idea that the WNBA is one big supportive family. It's a brilliant marketing tactic, but behind the scenes, the players have felt a growing disconnect between that public message and the reality they experience. Many feel that the league's leadership, and specifically Cathy Engelbert, is more concerned with corporate talking points than with their actual concerns. The frustration has been simmering for months, and you can hear it in the voices of the players themselves.
You've continued to express that you are disheartened by the characterization of your conversation with Napheesa Collier. Just again, seeking clarity, did you in fact say that Caitlin Clark should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything? And do you actually feel that way, that without this platform, players like Caitlin Clark wouldn't be making what they do off the court?
Yeah, obviously I did not make those comments. Caitlin has been a transformational player in this league. She's been a great representative of the game. She's brought in tens of millions of new fans to the game. Proud of what she's put on the court. Unfortunately, the injuries held her back from a full season this year. But again, I'm not going to get into every point, counterpoint. It's not productive here. We're here to celebrate the WNBA Finals. I think what Indiana just did was amazing with all the injuries they had and the everything they faced this year, bringing that to a Game 5 in overtime. But yeah, as I said, there's a lot of inaccuracies reported out there, and I certainly did not say that.
That right there is the missing piece of the puzzle. That is the sound of a relationship that is already broken. Engelbert's credibility wasn't just damaged by Collier's accusation. For many players, it was already gone. That's why her denial, no matter how forceful, fell on deaf ears. The players were already primed to believe the worst because their own experiences told them it was true. Collier and Clark knew this. Their alliance wasn't just an attack, it was a perfectly timed move that capitalized on this pre-existing breakdown of trust. It was a match thrown on a pile of dry kindling. But to truly understand this chess match, we have to connect one more dot here, and this is a complication the mainstream media doesn't want to touch. Many of you watching have already been digging into this. and you are onto something huge. This is where the story gets murky, because Napheesa Collier, the union VP fighting for player rights, is also the co-founder of Unrivaled, an alternative off-season basketball league. Let that sink in. The person leading the charge against the WNBA commissioner, at a time when a lockout is a very real possibility, stands to benefit financially if the WNBA shuts down. If the league gets locked out in 2026, players will be looking for a place to play and make money. And Collier's league, Unrivaled, would be perfectly positioned to scoop them up. So we have to ask the question, is this a selfless act for player solidarity, or is it a brilliant, perhaps ruthless, business move to create leverage for her own company? Is she a union hero or a savvy entrepreneur playing both sides against the middle? What's your take on this? Is Collier fighting for the players, or is she playing her own game? Let me know in the comments below. This conflict of interest changes everything. It suggests this entire public war may not be a simple battle of right versus wrong, but a complex power struggle with multiple players fighting for their own agendas. Caitlin Clark, by lending her voice to this fight, hasn't just chosen a side in a league dispute. She may have unknowingly become the most powerful marketing tool for a rival league. So let's filter out all the noise and connect the final dots. The lie at the center of this firestorm was never just about whether Cathy Engelbert made one comment about Caitlin Clark. The real lie was the entire narrative of unity and trust the WNBA was trying to sell to the public. The secret alliance between Napheesa Collier and Caitlin Clark was a calculated strike designed to shatter that illusion. Collier, the political strategist, created the opening by launching a targeted attack on the commissioner's credibility. Clark, the league's most powerful asset, provided the firepower, turning a behind-the-scenes dispute into a public execution. This isn't a simple disagreement, it's a coup. They've seized control of the narrative, exposed the deep fractures between the players and the league office, and left the commissioner virtually powerless, just as the most important negotiations in the league's history are about to begin. The board has been flipped, the players are dictating the terms of engagement, and the future of the league now rests in the hands of this new, powerful and unpredictable alliance. So what's your take on all this? We want to know what you think. Was this secret alliance a brilliant and necessary power play to finally secure players' rights? Or was it a dangerous gamble that could ultimately tear the league apart for personal gain? Drop your verdict in the comments below. We are tracking every move in this high-stakes chess match, from the backroom CBA deals to the public power plays. If you want the real story, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chapter. And finally, if you have a friend who is only seeing the headlines, share this video and help them understand the secret war being fought for the future of the WNBA.